Game on.
But Alan Norris has shown that he has what it takes to win these European Tour events. He won the last one of last year, the German Darts Championship. He won his third PDC title at the start of this year. And when you look at the run he had there, he beat Rob Cross, Ryan Searle, Mike De Decker, Keegan Brown, Kyle Anderson, Simon Whitlock and Peter Jakes. Now, all right,
60.
There's not any top 10 players there. But Simon Whitlock's in form. Rob Cross is in real form.
46.
Kyle Anderson's a very dangerous player. And Peter Jakes made the final because he kept beating top players. And even more impressive in Alan Norris's run there, he dropped 14 legs in the whole day. His average victory was 6-2. 7 games, 14 legs lost. Now, that is not just powering towards a title. That is bulldozing past everybody.
97.
Well, talking about impressive runs, Darren Johnson is a man who's enjoying something of an Indian summer in his career. He reached his first PDC final this year at the age of 50, Darren Johnson, and his run that day included wins against Dave Chisnell, Raymond van Barneveld, Benito van der Pas and Michael van Gerwen, before eventually losing out to Simon Whitlock in that
44.
final. But since then he's carried on producing decent stuff, beat James Wade at the German Darts Championship, qualified for a couple of European Tour events, and
140.
saw off Chisnell again with a 6-1 win at Players' Championship 10.
Yeah, he's producing the results of his life, Darren Johnson, at the ripe old age of 50. And I'm not sure where it's come from, but long may it continue. He's playing superbly. That wasn't superb, and he knows it.
84.
Well, that'll do for Darren Johnson. Leaves himself 32 for a chance to break the Alan Norris throw in the first leg. Norris was perhaps a little fortunate to come through against Matt Clark. Didn't survive any match darts, but he only averaged 88, and he did need deciding leg to beat him.
Game shot on the first leg, Darren Johnson.
And he might have a tight game here, because that is a break of throw, Darren Johnson. And perhaps notable in that run from Johnson, you've reeled off a list of huge names that he beat there to make the final of that Players' Championship event.
100.
So many of those games, 4 games on that day, went to a deciding leg. Others went 6-4. So he was getting involved in tight games with big-name players, and he was still coming through them, and coming through them again and again and again. Now, you're going to need a little bit of luck to keep on doing that. But you're going to have to remain calm and give yourself the best chance of coming through, and that's exactly what Darren Johnson's done. I mean, he's got immense experience, just hasn't had that much success until this year. Successful visit for Norris, though.
Certainly is, and speaking of 6-5, the last time, well, the European Tour event that I mentioned earlier on, when Darren Johnson beat James Wade, he had to hit back there, launch an incredible comeback to win 6-5 also. The only meeting between this pair went to a deciding leg as well.
It was only a couple of weeks ago in Wigan.
140.
Norris edged it out
164.
over 11 legs. It looks like he's poised to break straight back here.
100.
And if he does that, we already know that it will be closer than the first match.
One scored.
Well, on an 11 darter, can't finish it off in 12, and Darren Johnson for 2-0. Great dart, 8-8. 4-4.
56. And you require 40.
Well, the Yorkshireman missing 2 darts for a 2-0 lead. Norris. 10. 5.
30.
Oh, my word.
8.
This weekend has seen so many missed darts at double, and it may well continue today, it appears. Could be a theme for this year's Gibraltar Darts Trophy. I'm not sure it's a particularly welcome theme for either of these guys right now.
Oh, they're going to get us back on schedule after Peter Wright put us well in front. They carry on like this, but let's see if Alan Norris can finally level up. That's high. That's low, which means he doesn't get another.
No score.
And he's left the same target again. May not matter if Johnson pins 4-4. That's a long way away again.
Game shot on the
That's
second
not.
leg.
And
Darren
it's
Johnson.
2-0 to the Yorkshireman.
Third leg's Alan to throw first. Game on.
Well, Darren Johnson, having never made the final day of a European tour before this year, did so at the start of the year
58.
when he made the last 16 of the German Darts Championship in Hildesheim, beat James Wade to get there, and Ian White did for him 6-2 at
81.
this stage of the tournament. Now, he's already got 2 legs against Alan Norris here.
Yeah, and it's been a year of first, hasn't it, for DJ? And it could be his first European Tour quarter-final if he wins
26.
4 more legs.
But this is the thing, I think it was after beating James Wade in Hildesheim that he did his interview on stage with our MC that weekend, Elmar Polka, and he talked that he does just believe he can beat the best players in the world, because that
85.
weekend came directly after his run to the final of the Players' Championship event on the floor. And he said, I just believe that I can do it. I'm going up against these guys and knowing that I have the ability to beat them. And I think maybe in what has been a very long career for Darren Johnson, he's been around a long while, you know, he was going into games just kind of hoping, and perhaps hoping they make mistakes and let him in. But now he thinks he can just go out there and beat them. It's a change of mindset for him.
And it's producing fabulous darts.
140.
Perfect setup. And as you were saying, where has it come from? Well, this is a man who the only major tournament he's ever qualified for is the UK Open. Several times, but more players qualify for the UK Open than any other major tournament.
Yeah.
80.
You've got a field of, 128.
Game shot on the third leg.
And he has won
Darren
that
Johnson.
leg, an absolute canter
Well,
to
they get
break
Darren
the
to
Norris
throw
throw
first.
for a second time. It
Game
is
on.
3-0.
Last year also saw Darren Johnson hit his first career 9-darter as well. That was at a Players' Championship event in Barnes, just down the road from his home in Mexborough. Hails from the same spot as a darting legend, Mr. Dennis Priestley.
85.
A menace, former world champion.
Darren Johnson is proving to be a little bit of a menace himself for Alan Norris here. And we talked about at the beginning of the match which Alan Norris will turn up. Well, so far we've had our answer.
Yeah, and it's not the good one. There is still time to turn this around, but it is running out fast for Alan Norris. And look, for a guy who
81.
scores so heavily when he's playing well, those first 2 darts absolutely nowhere near the treble bit.
100.
And again, Johnson first to a finish.
Yeah, he's one of 4 unseeded players that made it this far. Dimitri Vandenberg, who's in our next match against Michael Smith.
45.
And then Rob Cross, taking on Dave
Darren
Chisnell,
150.
before later on a fellow Yorkshireman in the form of James Wilson will take on Ian Diamond White.
Magnus Karras as well, the Swede.
Yeah, missed that one. 5. Counting as well as Johnny Clayton.
97.
He is 52.
Darren, you require 90.
Now then, 90 for 4-0. Double 15.
Game shot on the fourth leg. Darren
It is
Johnson.
very simple for
Alan to throw
Darren
first.
Johnson today. We've had 10 legs so far today, unanswered. A 6-0 win for Peter Wright. And Darren Johnson is threatening to whitewash former Lakeside World finalist in Alan Norris. That's better from Norris.
80.
Maybe that can kickstart some kind of comeback.
140.
It wasn't slipping away this match, it was plummeting away from Alan Norris.
100.
180 backed up by a ton, but if Johnson matches his first score here, then he'll be on the same as Alan Norris, although this is a bit wayward.
46.
And Norris really in with a chance now to get his first leg on the board.
It's only on throw, though, for Norris, and Johnson will be, you know, if you're going to have a bad leg, let's have a bad leg when I'm 4-0 up and it's on the Norris throw. He's still not out of it, though. If he fills this up, then he's down to a finish.
140.
Just missing out.
And you require 81.
Double six. Oh, well, look. Alan Norris was on an 11 darter in the second leg when he hit the other 180. And he ended up messing around, missing 7 darts at double for it, and lost the leg.
97.
He was on an 11 darter in this one. He's looking at double 3, and if he misses inside, he's going to get stuck on 1 double 1, and Darren Johnson might well nick this. And that's exactly what's happened. Double 1.
On the 5th leg, Alan Norris.
Well, that could turn out to be the most important dart of the match. It could turn out to be the most important dart of the tournament if Alan Norris does win this game and then get going this evening, but it's a big ask right now.
Yeah, it took him 12 attempts to finally pin a double. Here's a big ask for Alan Norris, as you said.
121.
Seemingly shaken. Went straight off 140 on throw.
Johnson is playing at the same sort of level as he played all weekend, which is pretty decent. He's averaging around about 95. He averaged that against Gerwyn Price when he knocked the Welshman out. It's just dropped a little bit with that visit 60. You can see it's just under 94 now.
96.
But he averaged almost 95 against Gerwyn Price, 6-3 win there. He averaged 93 against Manuel Valeria when he beat him 6-1 in the first round there. Darren Johnson has just turned up in Gibraltar, played at this level, and it has been good enough so far, and it may well be good enough to book his place in the first ever Euro Tour quarter-final to face the red-hot favourite for the title, Peter Wright. Now, I'm not sure this level is good enough to beat Peter Wright, but I just don't know, because Darren Johnson's made a habit this year of beating big names.
He certainly has, and beaten them all on the same day as well. And that's how you really bear fruit in this game. Everyone can have one big performance or several big performances over the course of a year, but you put them all together in one tournament, really makes a hell of a difference, can be career-changing.
Well, look, if you're going to win 7 games against big-name players over the course of a season, 95. Do it all in a day and win the title, that gets you in things. Gets in things like the Grand Slam, potentially. Opens doors. Oh, look at this. Oh, misses the ball for 5-1. Norris looking at 94. And he can't afford to mess around and end up on 1 double 1 here because Darren Johnson, you feel, he's going... Well, what's that? What has he hit? Is it 7? I think it is. 87 remain. So we'll look at treble 17. Gets it. Double 18. Oh, wow. Alan Norris, by the skin of his teeth, is staying in this game.
Game on.
Yeah, and that is a breaker throw. So now Norris has a chance to just edge ever closer to Darren Johnson. You let everyone know how important he felt that 41. Was. You know, we mentioned about Johnson not qualifying for many major tournaments over the course of his career. Well, he's going to be well in the mix for the European Championship, isn't he?
Well, he certainly is, because that last 16 run, the German Darts Championship, that's $3,000. He's got $3,000 for this, but it could go up to potentially 25. Look, you win this, you're in the Euros, you make the final, he's going to be there. The cut-off, we reckon, we're guessing, but it could be around about 12, 13 grand. 12 events this year, of course. This is the 5th on the Euro Tour circuit. I think Peter Wright's going to be there.
And there's a potential that if the same players keep taking the big money, that it could be slightly lower.
There is the potential for that, although what they have done this year, they've limited the potential number of players, because you had to get a certain amount of points at Q School for those guys without tour cards. If you've got a tour card, you can play the qualifiers. But for the UK qualifiers, they limited it to guys who'd reached a certain level at Q School. So there is a slightly smaller pool of players that can potentially play at these events. But it is still quite a big pool. You know, you look at players we haven't even seen on the European Tour
83.
This year.
And even in getting here, Darren Johnson beat John Ball 6-4 and Steve West 6-5 again, which is another impressive result and another one that went all 11 legs.
Steve West, the guy who's been seeded for these events, and look at this, a 156 will be a killer blow. Oh, needed another treble 20. But Norris, well, look, he managed to take out 6. He managed to take out 94. The checkouts that he may need to take out are getting bigger. Is he up to the task? Treble 18. Not on this occasion. 88 for Darren Johnson to break and go within a leg of his first ever Euro Tour quarter-final. 18 for Bull. Bull's ideas, he's already missed this once for a 1-2-1. Can he take it out for 88? 63. No, he cannot.
Well, he guaranteed himself that dart, didn't even risk taking aim at the treble 18 there. I know that Paul Nicholson's a fan of making sure. But now, Alan Norris looking to make sure that this game continues to go on. However, he's pulled the second dart low at double top, and Johnson looking to tidy up 25. Opting for 9 for double 8.
21.
Norris gets let off. Can he take advantage this time?
Well, Alan Norris has had problems on double so far, but he doesn't have a problem on double 10 this time around. He has put together a run of 3 consecutive legs now, Alan Norris, to drag himself back into this. Johnson was on 78 for a 5-0 lead, didn't get a shot at it. That's a 180 for Johnson.
Well, you still feel if you get, Alan Norris has just won 3 legs on the spin, but if Johnson holds here, he'll have to do that again.
And he's won 3 legs on the spin, but only by virtue of Johnson missing doubles. He had 1 at a bullseye for 5-1. He had 3 darts in that last leg for 5-2. And Johnson, 4 perfect darts.
85.
Johnson is doing enough to suggest he is going to get more darts for legs. And 22 dart leg, that 7th leg.
96.
Johnson does lose this game. That'll be a real moment that haunts
60.
him. Got a healthy lead here. Alan Norris needs to do something special. Ton 40 gets him to a finish.
100.
See the frustration. He knew he had to give himself a chance of taking out in 6 darts. That 310. Because Johnson has left himself double 18 to go within a leg.
Well, some pressure.
Darren 36.
3 darts in hand. 36 required. Getting trickier. And now Norris, all of a sudden, has the chance to level up. 4-0 down. 80 points required. He go for 2 double tops straight away, and now made it more difficult for himself.
It certainly looks that way. Was it the right decision?
60.
Maybe not. Maybe not. Darren Johnson has got into a worrying habit these last few legs of missing doubles, but it comes to an end now on double 4. And Johnson only needs 1 more leg to appear in the final session of action here at the Gibraltar Darts Trophy. Johnson had never made it to the final day of a Euro Tour until the start of this year at the German Darts Championship.
140.
That's when he reached this stage of the tournament, and Ian White gave him, well, a convincing beating. 6-2. Darren Johnson could have already won this and won it by a distance. He has had 58. A number of darts in legs that he has lost. That little run of 3 legs that Alan Norris won in a row to drag himself back into this match, but he's going to have to do it all again.
Peter Wright awaits, of course. Should Darren Johnson, or whichever player goes through, the top half of the draw also consists of our next couple of games. Dimitri Vandenberg against Michael Smith and Dave Chisnell against Rob Cross.
84.
We talked about how strong the top half of the draw looked, but we've seen 3 unseeded players get through that half. Johnson being one of them, and he could be about to progress even further.
Well, a second maximum for Darren Johnson, 4 in the match in total.
43.
And that is a slip from Alan Norris. And it means that he is not down to a finish. Johnson should get to one, although that is not much help.
47.
Well, that leaves him 156. 2 treble 20s for double 18 to finish with a flourish.
Norris is still alive right now. You'd expect
83.
to get a shot
Darren, you require
at 91. Certainly not a gimme. He might not get a shot.
It is still on double 18.
What
What a finish, Darren Johnson. He may not go by the nickname anymore, but that was dynamite. 156 from Johnson. He wins 6-3. Former Euro Tour champion Alan Norris dumped out in the last 16, and it is DJ, the Yorkshireman, into his first ever Euro Tour quarter-final.